Do chaos spawn have any uses? In this series, I'm going to teach you how to use each chaos space marine unit more effectively. So chaos spawn. I think these are close to having a use, but currently for me, they are not going in any of my lists for my tournaments. So I love the models, even though they're really old, I still think they're pretty cool. I enjoyed building these and painting these, even though they look a bit mad. But they don't really have a use, they're not a value for points at the moment. And the reasons for that are that they do not have any OC. That's the biggest reason I'm not including them. If they had OC, then yeah, I'd include them because they're cheap. They can do secondaries at the moment, they're 70 points. They're cheap, they could do secondary actions for me. They're fairly fast, movement 8, the toughness 5, 4+ save, 4 wounds, leadership 7+, fine, and they get a 5+ feel no pain. So, they're pretty tough, pretty durable for a little 7-point unit. They also have D6+2 attacks, hitting on 4s, strength 5, -1 AP, and damage 2. And they also have a very interesting ability, which we'll get onto in a minute. So at 70 points, you can get Chaos Spawn. You can also get Traitor Guardsmen, which are pretty decent, not amazing, but pretty decent 70 points. You can also get bikes, which bikes are very good. They're fast, they're tough, they're durable, and they can score objectives for you. And we'll get onto them in another video. But I feel that the 3 options at 70 points at the moment, Chaos Spawn are probably the weakest, just because of that OC 0. And again, if I've got points spare, if I'm not having bikers, then I might even just go for some cultists and an enhancement maybe, especially with Renegade Raiders, because they get some good enhancements. I could pop one of them on. I could even drop out my enhancement that I use for 15 points, the one that I'm using currently, the one that gives you the extra CP. And then with the 70 points, that puts up to 85, and then I could put in some Noise Marines, which are a solid unit. So the only tiny thing that makes them slightly okay and potentially I've thought about putting them in is this ability, mind-breaking mutations. So when an enemy unit, apart from vehicles, is within 3 inches of this unit, subtract 1 from the objective control characteristic of models in that enemy unit. So what this means is, if you have, let's say, Cypher, it normally hangs around in the middle of the board for me, he's got 1 OC. If there's an enemy unit, 10 models with 1 objective control each, he is going to be losing that objective 10 to 1. If he needs to take that objectives for any of the secondaries which require that, so secure no man's land, extend battle lines, or even just cleanse, because you need to be controlling that, he's got no chance. Okay, he's not going to do it. And then certain things as well, like terraform, etc., the mission rules, which he could do as well. All you've got to do in that situation is, instead of trying to kill them all, you can't kill any if you're doing an action anyway, but you could just pop these spawn 3 inches away from just one model, even through a wall, because it's an aura, you don't need line of sight. So 3 inches away in cover, inch away from the wall maybe the enemy unit has got 1 guy sticking out, and then that means the entire unit, not just the ones that are in 3 inches, the entire unit loses its OC. The OC can go down to 0, so that 10 OC has now gone down to 0. Your Cypher has got 1 OC, he now controls it. He can do any of those secondary objectives, he can do any actions he needs to do, he will be in control of that objective. So it could be extremely powerful, it could be really useful, but the situations where that's going to come up are very few, and it's very niche. And for 70 points, like I say, you could 15 more points, you could have some Noise Marines, you could have some bikes, and then even some Traitor Guard, which you just run on there. They've got 2 OC anyway, so you wouldn't even have to worry about that situation, because you just literally run your Traitor Guardsmen on there, and they've got double the OC anyway. So it's a very unusual situation to find yourself in. But saying that, the guy who does 40k dirtbags, He is #1 Chaos Space Marine player in the world at the moment. And he used Spawn in a successful list where he won a tournament. I think, can't remember if it was the Alvio or something. I can't remember. But check out his YouTube and you'll see. But he used them successfully, but he has since dropped them. So maybe they weren't that useful for him. But if you've used Spawn before and had any success, please, please, please let me know in the comments, because I'd love to hear how you use them.